Hi, everyone. So today we're going to be learning how to interpret expressions without evaluating them. And what that means is we're going to be looking at expressions and we're going to be trying to figure out the value of them without actually solving. So I'm going to show you a few examples before you do your assignment. So the problem reads Jimmy's clown costume requires 7/8 plus 1/2 plus 1 3/4 yards of fabric. His dad's matching clown costume requires 3 times 7/8 plus 1/2 plus 1 3/4 yards. How does the amount of fabric needed for the dad's costume compare to the amount needed for Jimmy's costume? So, right off the bat, I see that they got their measurements from the chart. Their measurements are both exactly the same. This is Jimmy's expression and this is dad's expression. The only difference is that dad's multiplies that expression by 3. And I know that if I'm multiplying something by 3, it's going to be 3 times larger than what you started with. So when comparing dad's to Jimmy's, I would say that dad's costume requires 3 times more fabric than Jimmy's. And that's how you can evaluate an expression without solving it. So I just figured out that this one, just by looking at it, I know that it's 3 times bigger than this one. So let's do some more problems together. So the first one I have 2/10 times 632 plus 688. The other expression I have is just the 632 plus the 688. Now, I saw multiplication, which in my mind, I assume this one must be larger because I'm multiplying. But this is a trick. So, usually when you multiply, you would think it would get bigger. But I'm multiplying by a decimal, and the decimal that I'm multiplying by is less than 1. I'm multiplying by 2/10, which is a very tiny number. So when I multiply by a decimal that's less than 1, I'm going to get a tiny, tiny piece as my answer. This one, I'm just taking the numbers and adding them together. I'm not doing anything else to it. So I know just by looking that this expression is larger than this one. So when we're going to use greater than, less than, and equal to, we need to read the expression from left to right so we can figure out which of these signs we're going to use. So when I read this, I could call this expression 1. So I would say expression 1 is less than expression 2. Because I said less than, I know that I'm going to use the less than symbol, like this. Next, we have 1/3 times 369 plus 3,141. And then we have the same two numbers added, but we're dividing it by 3. So here we're multiplying by 1/3, here we're dividing by 3. And I notice that 1/3 and 3 are reciprocals, which means they're opposites of each other. So I know that multiplying by 1/3 is going to get me the same answer as dividing by 3. If you wanted to take 3 and turn it into a fraction, it would be 3/1. So these two numbers are opposites. If it was 1/8 and here it was 8, it would be the same thing. These are reciprocals, which means multiplying by the fraction and dividing by the whole number will give you the same answer. So I know that these are equal. The next one, I have 2 7/10 times 9 plus 2 7/10 times 3. Here I have 2 7/10 times 16. So here I'm timesing the number by 9, and here I'm timesing it by 3. So I'm doing 2 steps. Here I'm timesing the number by 16. Now, I see that it's being times by 9 and being times by 3. So collectively, I could say that 2.7 is being multiplied by 12 if I add 9 and 3 together. So this is basically like saying 2.7 times 12. I know that 2.7 times 16 is larger than that. So when reading this, I would say that this expression is less than this expression because timesing 2.7 by 12 is less than 2.7 times 16. So I will also be putting a less than. And that is how you interpret expressions without solving.